of the most symbolic, if not one of the most successful promotion nights in sports history. 25 years ago this evening, the Chicago White Sox baseball team offered its fans the opportunity to watch not just a doubleheader at Comiskey Park, but also the chance to bring disco albums with them and watch all the records get blown up en masse between the two games. That, of course, was before the riot and the minor brush fire in center field. Number 2 story on the countdown, Disco Demolition Night, 25 years later. And if you think this is trivia, think again. There are negotiations underway to make a movie about this.
Disco sucks! Disco sucks! Disco sucks! Disco sucks!
We don't know who will play Steve Dahl, the then anti-disco disc jockey of WLUP-FM, now afternoon host on WCKG-FM in Chicago. It was not his idea, but it was him in the helmet blowing up the albums. Steve joins us now from Chicago. Well, happy anniversary.
Thanks, Keith.
Explain what didn't go exactly as planned that night.
Well, they stopped collecting records after they got about 20,000 of them, enough to fill up the box, and then they let everybody keep their record, you know, the other people keep the record. So those of course became Frisbees, so that was a bad start. And then things just kind of got worse from there. There's a big explosion on the field. It draws people towards it.
Wow. You think it actually, though, did signal the end of disco as the predominant American music genre?
You know, I think that it was a fad, and it was probably on its way out, but I think it hastened its demise. I don't want to take credit for killing it.
Yeah, but whose idea about taking credit for Disco Demolition Night? Whose idea was this? I've heard this described in 2 or 3 different ways. You presumably know and can tell by now.
Well, actually, I believe Mike Beck, Bill Beck's son, came to the radio station that I worked at because he had heard me blowing up records on the air. And it was his idea to turn Teen Night into Disco Demolition Night.
And
Mike Beck.
Yeah, and they continue to let him promote baseball to this day, despite all of that. What's the movie? There's going to be a movie?
Yeah, there's talk about it. I mean, there's a script, and meetings have been taken, so we'll see. It's either going to be Jack Black or Louis Anderson for me. I don't know which one.
I was just going to say, you must get a say, or at least a vote that they don't count as to who's going to get to play you. I don't know this. A lot of what I read about this, even back in 1979 when this happened, suggested this was the worst event to happen in baseball in terms of a promotion. Do you think that's true? Did you feel that this was a real disaster that was averted, or do you think that 10-cent beer night in Cleveland was a much worse idea?
Well, I know nobody got hurt at Comiskey Park. I mean, I've always felt bad. I'm a baseball fan. I've always felt bad that the second game was canceled. But, the Sox were like 22 games out before the All-Star break, so, I mean, the event would have not become notorious had they not ended up canceling that game. So I have mixed emotions about it, I guess.
And you have the rare opportunity to claim as someone who was not a Major League Baseball player that you had a decisive impact on the outcome of a Major League game. You help the White Sox lose a game.
I want to know with the Tigers currently.
Steve Dahl of WCKG-FM radio in Chicago. Thank you, my friend, and I'm putting it behind 10-cent beer night, so happy anniversary.
All right, thanks.